Okay, so welcome back everyone to another Serenum Sokoban episode. It's been quite a while. I'm in the process of moving to a new apartment, but the move is nearly done, and once I'm done I'll be able to stream a lot more frequently. Okay, so let's just refresh our minds of what happened last time. So I think last time we started to do some more of the fine-tuning the character movement. In particular, we kind of had this screen. However, I wasn't completely knowledgeable as to how the input processing, keyboard processing works on the Serenum system. I noticed something strange where when the key is held, say like I press the right key down, and I hold it down and then I release it, the character moves both on the initial press and on the release. And there were some other things that were kind of a bit strange. I've since emailed the creator of the Serenum system, Sam H. Smith, and yeah, Sam responded. So now I know more about what's happening. And so I think the first thing, so there's a couple of things I want to do today. Hopefully I'll have time to do them all. The first is to update the movement system so that the character moves only when a key is pressed down. This way you can spam this way if you want to move the character right 10 times a second, provided you hit the key 10 times a second, that will happen. I then want to get the scrolling movement for the screen working correctly as well. That is, in the current game. In the current game, all of this is the game data. Only the first third of this is currently being displayed, because the first third of this is the first screen of the game. I want the character to be able to walk both right and left, and then I want to actually get the movement logic tying with the environment and the geometry of the level. That is, the character should only be able to walk on paths and on the boats. There may be time later in the day to get some of the boat logic moving, but I think already for the moment, getting the character moving on paths is already is a sizable task. At least while I'm still learning this programming language, and I'm still getting used to this new operating system. Okay, so let's kind of begin by reviewing the current input code and modifying this to be the correct thing, following up from the email. Okay, so where we're in this code. How's this again? Okay, so this is the main game lib. So we're saying save all of the previous states of the space key and the arrow keys, and then we run our process input. So this is the procedure I want to modify first. Where is the process input procedure? Here it is. Okay. Yeah, so the noob key event here has a couple of fields. Now that I know what these do, I should sort of annotate these. You can say noob key event struct. Okay, so following up from the email, the first field, which is just the claves, corresponds to the key. We then have the premature which this explains the behavior of why the character moves both when the key is first pressed and released. This is meant to be like true if key pressed down, otherwise like false for the key up. And then finally, the thing we'll want to use today is a bit field, which is this status clavium, which is yeah, it's just like a bit field of the keyboard. That is to say, if the key, which is like indexed at 20, at like 32 is pressed down, then at like index number 32 in this bit field, there's going to be a 1, otherwise it will be a 0. Okay, so currently all of this logic is working with regards to whether the key is down or not. And so we now want to update all of this logic to just to using this bit field, this status clavium. To make things really easy to begin with, I'm just going to comment out all of the key stuff, and we'll try and get the space working. And like once the logic for the space works, we'll apply it to the rest of the keys. Sam was kind enough to send me some code of what the logic should be for the space key. And so in particular, okay, in order to do this, we want to first like cache what the one thing to do could be to cache this bit field. I think we could also just like access it like locally here as well. I don't see any reason why it couldn't be that. So yeah, let's but even then, now I'm thinking, is there actually any need to cache it locally? Like, given that we're kind of filling it up here to begin with, I think it's fine if we just keep stuff for the key event. Yeah. Okay. So for the space key, what do we want to do? We want to do, this is the old version. So in the new version, we want to just determine if the space key is down or not. So I think in all of these cases, we just want to set what the left key down is. So in this case, we want to say the space key down dereference is equal to the bit field, which here is going to be the key event dot the status clavium dereferenced. And now I've got the bit field. We can use the yeah, we can use Sam's suggested code. Yeah, so Sam says, yeah, since this is a bit field, every byte contains 8 possible keys. So if we want to find out where the key space is, we want to divide that value by 8. That will give us the byte. Dereference it so we get that byte. and then we want to check that this is equal to 1, and we can do that by a bit shifting. Let's put it in brackets just to make it clear. Bit shifting 1 as many times as the last 8 bits in the key space value. So then we would do key space $8. This is a language with semicolons. Okay, and then I think that should be enough. Okay, and now we want to somehow test whether this is working or not. And so how about when the space is pressed, we change the color of the character in some way? Okay, so where's our render character procedure? We have it here. Yeah, so we could, since since we're just kind of doing a debug thing, and is space key down is a global, we can just jump into that procedure and modify it there. So we want space key down, it's just called space key down, dereferenced in the render character. I don't trust myself to remember names, so let's just copy this. And where is our render character? Here it is. So let's change the hat body color to something else. Okay, so let's say, well, first of all, what even is the color? What's the type of it again? So they're just constants here, but we're using this constant in noob rectangle. And what is the type of the noob rectangle? I think we can make it like an N32. Yeah, we're saying here N32 tile color is this. Okay, so we'll say N32 hat body I want a Dvorak keyboard layout. Hat and body color is equal to, we'll just make it equal to this one to begin with. Then we can say C space key down. We want to change it. And say hat body color. And what should we make this? Let's just make this equal to the boots color in such a case. Okay. So now then, when we hold down at any given stage, when the spacebar is pressed, the main the red shirt of the clothing of the character should just become the same as the boots color. Okay, so let's try compiling this. and then running it. Okay, this bodes well. Productor, Sokoban, let's give it a go. Oh no, and it doesn't seem to work. I hold down space and the character does not, the character remains red. Okay, let's try and debug this. What is going on? It's completely obvious what's going on. If you're going to define a new variable, you actually need to use it in the code. The Brevis compiler is not the Zig compiler. The Zig compiler would have errored. It would have failed to let me compile. It would have said, you defined a variable and you didn't use it, you fool, use it. Something that I've actually really grown to love in the Zig compiler. It would be too much for some people, but it has caught loads of errors that I've made. Okay. Okay, now this is saved. Let's try and compile it again and then run it. Okay, so quit out of, let's quit out of this. I want some snacks. Okay. No, once again, not working. Okay, this is a surprise. What could be going on? Like, I did save this, didn't I? Yeah, like here I'm setting it to false, but then yeah, what's happening? Oh, okay. It may have to do. I'm just looking at like the suggested code that Sam included. It may have to do with order of operations for the bit shift and the modulo. Possibly, let's see if before I added in these parentheses here, if it was the case that the bit shift had a higher order of precedence, then yeah, the one would have got shifted a huge number to the left, and then we would have done modulo 8, which would be 0, and then that wouldn't result in anything. Okay, I hope this is enough to fix the error, but let us see. There's only one way to be sure. Compile again. Aha, okay, and now it's semi-working. It's clearly flashing black, but it's not remaining black when I'm holding the key down. Why? Okay, so maybe it's flashing because a key event is only being generated every time there's a kind of a change, like whether the key is pressed down or whether the key is pressed up. Okay, and then in this case, yeah, when we like for like the single frame in which I press it, it's black and then it goes back to red. Now I understand why Sam suggested caching the values. Since then, yeah, and I guess this makes sense as caching the values, because then by caching it, you will kind of be effectively reading what it is at any given stage, since it's only ever going to get updated. Like if like the keyboard state of whether keys are pressed up or down is ever changed, at the same time a key event would be generated. So simply just reset the keyboard state from any key event, and then things should be fine. I mean, I hope so. I hope this will enable me to like spam left or right really quickly and see things reflected. We'll see. Okay. Let's go back to the editor. Yeah, and then we'll do the caching thing. Yeah, it says like noob next key event, like it's... Like I kind of want, I kind of just want to like access it more directly, but we'll do the cache idea. So how should we do this? We can make a variable here, a global. Let's call it like keyboard bit field. So here's our globals. Variable. This is a larger type. This is now a 26. N8 keyboard state. Well, call this the keyboard bit field. Keyboard bit field. And then this will automatically be zeroed. And then this is the type of it. Yeah. And then whenever there's a key event, we want to set this thing. So yeah, so we have this noob key event. It's equal to this thing. And now we want to say keyboard bit field. Keyboard bit field dereferenced is equal to the key event dot the status dereferenced. And now we should just be able to do everything in terms of the keyboard bit field. Save. So in particular, I kind of want to actually see these error messages. Sam also answered my question regarding this. Yeah, these should be known as regere. So yeah, for the space key down, we now just want to say hang on. There are no undos. Why did I do that? The space key down global dereferenced should now equal the keyboard bit field equal to that dereferenced. Okay, let us save this and try and compile. This way we can now do these print statements that are hopefully like debug print stuff. Oh, okay. This is often because... So this time the associated value is not 0. So we haven't done a null dereference crash here. I'm getting something different. It's crashing at 2408. Anyway, we haven't changed much, so it should be straightforward to figure out What's going on? Like, what could it be? Oh, I think it's because the noob key event could return a 0, a null pointer, if there was nothing. And yet, we're running this line each time. So, we really want to say only if we want to do this kind of thing. We want to do this high. We want to do this earlier. So yeah, let's just copy all of this down. And actually, while we're at it, this stuff can really happen first, since we do want this to run each frame. And then we can say this is an important note, so it should be something here. Note, if there is no key event, well, like if there has not been a change in the keyboard state, a key event will be 0. And then, like, we should not, like, further processing should not happen in such a case. Should not happen in such a case. Okay. Okay, so now that it's like, if it's not 0, we are now able to print out what that is, and then update the keyboard state. Okay, so let's save this and do our favorite compile run cycle. Like, whenever I work on this game, I'm reminded just how many times I invoke the compiler on my game in Zig. Like, it feels like it's not that much, but one of the reasons behind that is because the Zig compiler is fairly quick. Okay, it didn't crash. Oh. But when I press the space key, it still blinks. It's not working. It's not working. I think it's not working because of the position of the reset logic. But hey, the program at least is not crashing now. So we do need to, I still need to modify this further. But now we're getting the keyboard event debug messages. So let's actually run this again, and then I'll press space twice. 1, 2. Let's quit. And let's see what we got. So I see, 30 in hex appear 4 times, and the pressed, 1 and 0, 1 and 0. So this does correspond to the thing is pressed down once, released, pressed down, released. So that's good. I want to check the spamming functionality though. So I'll press like spacebar, but like 4 times really quickly, and then quit, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so now if I quit, it did register all of those. And I feel like on the screen I did see it blink 4 times really quickly. There's a slight bit of lag, but it is kind of there. And yeah, if I just like spam it heaps of times, it is doing stuff. Okay, this is good. So it's like truly just like a programming logic failing now. Okay, so now like truly these key events, it just, we have to base this code around how the key event system works. So in particular, this kind of logic needs to be modified. So in particular, we should only be running this. Like, why am I running this anyway? What do we want to do? Yeah, if this stuff was like space key down last frame, this is the kind of stuff we'd want to set. Let's just comment this. Okay, so see, how do we redo this logic? Not being able to look up the keyboard at any given time, but just So I think it's simply, I think we can like we can actually just delete all of this and instead just do the other proper updates down here. Like I think this would be fine. Because then in this case we're saying, yeah, the only, like, if the downward state of either of these keys was to change, this would already be recognized by a key event change. So then, say the space key is released, we would pass, this line would occur, so then we can just update the correct variable down here. Okay, I think then that does settle it. So this can be just deleted. And then we'll leave this in here. We just need to kind of do some copy pasta stuff here. Okay. And so now we just want to change the space to, you know, left, right, up and down. And then likewise change the key space here to this key left, key right, up and down. We may as well align all of these as well. Okay, and then I think that's kind of all that's needed. Okay, let us attempt to compile and run. Quit this. Hey, yeah, thanks for stopping by, Sam. Yeah, things are going well. Yeah, thanks again for your previous email. It definitely it's helped a lot. So I think the keyboard processing now should kind of be done. Let's see. Yeah, this is what I wanted to happen when I hold down the space key. The appropriate action happens. And now I can now spam the left key, the up key, and the right key, and the character moves the appropriate number of positions. This is great. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, this is really good. This is what I wanted to happen. Like here, I want to be able to press upwards twice and right really quickly. And yeah, I immediately just hop between them. This is good. Likewise, yeah, I should just be able to like press both keys almost simultaneously, and the character just hops between them, which is great. Okay. Okay, hurrah! So this part is now finished, and now we can get on to the character logic. And now the character should just be moving on the paths instead, so just on these yellow parts. And also, more importantly, when the character moves in this position from this edge of the screen and I press right, this screen should kind of redraw, but with the character on the left part of the screen. Okay, so now I can get into all of the logic required for that. And yeah, likewise with like the escape key, we'll deal with it later. Okay, I should update this list. So yeah, doing distinct types, it's not like a core, there's not like a, it's not as intended as with, say, Odin or Zig. So actually, I might, yeah, we might just get rid of this for now. But instead, we can do the dealing, pressing the escape key does something, like an options menu, maybe. But if we're going to do an options menu, it will require rendering text and many other things. And we're certainly not there yet. Like text rendering, every time I've done it using any graphics API across any operating system, it's a pain. It's going to be nice from this arena, but game logic first. Let's actually make the game playable before we worry about like menu screens and stuff. Okay, so now the movement is, now the input pressing is working. It's logic time. So yeah, so this is currently highlighted as temp, and now we're going to change it. So we want to change this to an attempted move proc. Before we do any of this, because I want to test it immediately, we should begin the character on a tile that the character can actually move on. Okay, so up here, that's just going to be all of these dashes that represent tiles. Okay, so in particular, if we first position the character at coordinate using like matrix notation 3, 1, things should be fine. Actually, we can start them adjacent to this house here at 2, 2. So this should be in the setup code of the game. We just move the character position there. Oh, and there's also this like to do. Let me add that to the list as well. To-do list, figure out how asserts work in Brevis. Okay. So yeah, we'll ignore this tile type for now, and this stuff is temp, but we may as well keep it in. Change back to defaults when doing when doing boat logic. Okay. And yeah, now that it's working, we can just jettison all of this previous code. Okay. So all of this stuff is just the transferring the string data into the game matrix. I should describe what's happening. Transfer the string data above into the game matrix. And okay, when we implement resetting levels and undo, we'll need to have a like default, some notion of like a default game matrix. We can kind of cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's get the, but we're gonna have to do it. We will have to do it somewhat soon. We'll add this to the to-dos. And this is like high priority, so we hide these. Implement an initial version of reset. And I think when we do this, it will just be reset only the appropriate portion of the screen only. At least to begin with. Oh, that was not tagged correctly. Okay, but before we even get to that, we're going to have to move the boats and we're going to have to push the stones in the game around. Okay. There's like making a game requires so many things. Okay. So we've done this setup drawer. Before this, we should do the initial position of the character. Set the initial position of the character. Okay, so here we want to say, we said it was 2, 2. And this is just character X pos and Y pos that are globals. So you want to say car X pos dereferenced is equal to 2. And car Y pos dereferenced is equal to 2. Okay. Let's just check everything is behaving and that I didn't somehow, through all of the commenting, stuff something up. So how will this moving logic work? We want to say the character can only move on paths, grass, and on the boat. So we want to do some kind of simple like or statement, kind of like looking yeah, it would just be like 3 ORs, and then if those are satisfied, the character will then be able to move. Okay, yeah, and the character starting in the 2-2 position like we specified. And so we want them to be able to initially move here. We don't want that to be possible. We don't want moving on the roof to be possible, and we don't want moving on the stone to be possible. But we want all of this kind of behavior to start with. Okay. So let's do that logic. Okay. So finally, we're back to the temp that we can change. Okay, so I'm saying change this to an attempted move proc. So yeah, if the left key is down and it wasn't down last frame, yeah, we want to so a ridiculous thing to do, but it would be easy to do, would be to have 4 separate procedures that just correspond to try and move the character left, try and move the character right, etc., etc. This is really dumb. It would be nicer to have just a single procedure that takes in some argument, where that argument is the direction we want to go in. It would be good to like set up an enum for this, for the directions. Okay, so let's kind of do something like that. So we have this tower enum here, and now we want to do a direction enum. Direction enum. So now we want to say absolute can I just say up? No, I feel like saying up will get us into trouble at some stage. Let's just say like direction up. And we'll make, we'll keep things in the same order. So we really should begin with direction left. Direction left. And then we'll want direction right, up and down. And now we want to make a procedure that, first of all, let's make sure all of these actually have separate values. We'll then want to make a procedure that tests whether the character can move in one of these given directions. Okay. So, we do this after the input processing and above the main. So we want to say procedure attempt character move, And here we just want to pass in a direction. So this direction should just have a type of a byte. I think this is how procedure declaration happens in Brevis. Yeah, it's just type argument. We have to add in the comma. Good thing I checked. There have been several compile bugs because of that. And then we just want to describe the logic here. So we can have like some if-else statements. But yeah, let's just try doing like the down button first. So you could say if C direction equals direction down logic. And I've already forgotten what I called these variables. Yeah, it wasn't dir, it was direction. So got that, and then we'll just repeat the logic. We'll get this working and then repeat it for the other cases. Okay, so yeah, if the character is moving down, we want to check the game matrix to see if the tile there is grass, path, or a boat. How does this direction stuff work again? At one stage before we like flipped the y-axis. Here it is. So how does it work? We're saying we want to increase the y position by 1. Okay. So yeah, if the direction is down, we want to say one thing we could do is just declare. There's a couple of things going on in my mind. One thing would be to do the checking the tile for the grass, the path, or the boat within each of these if statements. That kind of feels a bit nasty. It may be better just to define a variable called like adjacent tile, and then use the if condition to get the coordinates of that, then do a test on this adjacent tile, and then move the character in the appropriate direction again if that condition's passed. I feel like this is nicer than the alternative. Okay, so we want to say in some sense, like the alternative, but we're going to do it this way to start with. So we want to say like what we want to say like adjacent. The adjacent tile, like adjacent tile x pos is equal to something that we're going to fill, and then the adjacent tile y pos is something that we'll fill as well, with these if conditions. But what is the type that we're using for these tile positions? What even is the global of the character? We're saying an assigned 64. Okay, So we'll keep that consistent. So yeah, S64 adjacent tile pause. And we'll just make them 0 to begin with. Okay, and then actually we can do something better. We can just set these to be the character X pause and the character Y pause. And then we can just increment them or decrement them as necessary in these if conditions. So now I can say if the direction is down, the adjacent tile is going to be, well, the X pause position is going to change, but the Y pause is going to be modified. We're going to increase it by 1. And let's just wrap these up all on one line to make it easier to read. Okay, and then let's try that again. Okay. So I'm going to do left, right, up, and down. So yeah, so if it's left, we're modifying the X pause by minus equals 1. If it's right, we're increasing it. If it's up, we are decrementing it. And then, yeah, if it's down, we are increasing it like that. Okay, and then don't know why that's no. Okay, so now we've got the positions of the copy paste to error. If it's left and right, we're modifying the X, otherwise we're modifying the Y. Okay, so yeah, so now with these in hand, we now need to do the game matrix lookup. So now we want to say check if the adjacent tile is path, grass, or both. If so, move otherwise do not. So, if this was Zig, I would compile this now, but let's just push through it. So how does this G matrix, how does the game matrix work again? So just below this, we set it here. Okay, so we do this thing where we switch the string character into a tile. And what's the tile enum? All of these things. So yeah, we just want to look up the matrix, and and then we just want to say if it's a path tile or grass tile or boat tile. So if it's 4, 5, or 6, it's fine. Otherwise, yeah, it's not fine. Copy. Maybe we'll allow the character to move on debug as well, possibly. Don't need to. Don't need to yet. Okay, and then, yeah, what is this game matrix again? Let's paste this here. And it's literally just, yeah, G matrix reset. Okay, so now we can say tile. What is the type of the tile? I want the tile to be of type tile, but that's not allowed. What is it? I suppose since we're defining these as like constants, we could just let them be like n8s, I guess. Okay, let's do this. So let's call this adjacent, like adjacent tile is equal to the G matrix, and we're looking this up at the adjacent tile y-pos, and then the adjacent tile x-pos dereferenced. And that should kind of be it. Now we want to do our logic. I can say we just want to like check that it's equal to 4, 5, or 6. Otherwise, there's no move. I think we could just immediately break out of the, or just return from the function in such a case. Which should be refer, I think. I kind of have forgotten. Yeah, how do we return from procedures again? I have forgotten. It is refer. Refer means return. Okay. So adjacent tile logic, where we say we quite like. I kind of want to return from it. We'll just we'll, if it's not the case, we'll immediately return. Otherwise, we'll do the other logic. So we want to say so we want to kind of negate. We want to like do the negation of like, is it equal to grass, or is it equal to the path, or is it equal to the boat? So what, like the De Morgan law says, make all of these ands, all of these ors ands. So we just want to say if it's not a path and it's not a grass and it's not a boat, leave immediately. So we can say if the adjacent tile is not a path tile and the adjacent tile is not equal to a grass tile, and the adjacent tile is not equal to a boat tile, then yeah, we can't walk on it, so leave. Refer. I find it interesting. It's like there's a hash sign on the refer. I guess it kind of makes sense. Okay. Okay, so then with all of that, with that logic done, we now want to update the position of the character. I really want to compile this just to make sure, just to catch whatever's going on. So let's just do something really silly, which is no matter what direction is being pressed, the character will move down. So let's just say character ypos dereferenced plus equals 1. And yeah, we'll fix this, but I wanna just get this running. And we want to call attempt character move in the appropriate direction down here. So when we're saying the down key is down stuff, this is where we want to say attempt to move the character in direction down. Okay. And then, yeah, if this works, we will update everything. And then the moving, and then the basic character movement logic will be done. So yeah, save, suspend, and compile. Don't know of anything called Gmatrix. All right. I kind of thought is Gmatrix not a global? Oh, it's not. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to set this up as well. There is no time like the present, and we have no choice. So, where is the G matrix defined? Here. I mean, I don't think there's no need to set this as like using the stack allocator. We can just we can surely define this as a global. I would be surprised if, yeah, in this programming language, only like very specific types of variables could be globals. It wouldn't feel right. Okay, so let's say, and besides, we kind of like, yeah, if we're already doing an array up here, we can surely do a matrix type. So yeah, define this G matrix to just have to be of that type, and then it will get zeroed out, but a global, and then we should just be able to fill it kind of as usual. This is really important though. This variable should be kind of like the first thing. So we'll say like this is just like the game state, or rather just like the map state. And we can say character keyboard okay, and let's just move up this important notice to above the globals. And since globals are important, let's just do some kind of formatting around it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put a box around it. Yeah. So for the G matrix now that it's a global, if it was just like a really basic type, we would have to update dereference stuff. But I think since it's a matrix type, kind of should be fine. Before I compile, I just want to read over it anyway. Besides, we like copy this. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Okay, let's try and compile it again. Okay. We didn't get the G matrix error this time, which is good. We instead got line 353, line 354. A random parentheses. 354. Oh, I forgot a semicolon. Because of course I did. Okay, save. Then compile again. Let's try running it. Okay. Yeah, okay. So when I press down now, the character isn't like I'm currently spamming down. The character's not moving down because of the water. This is good. If I spam down now, that happens. This is good. But the left and the right logic is incorrect. But in either case, the down logic's now working. Okay. Great. let's implement the other directions. So all of let's try and not repeat this bug again when we do the this stuff. There's like another micro decision to be made. In the case where and it's to do with like if the character is on the edge of the screen, do we want them like wandering off? And since we're gonna have to do screen shifting stuff anyway, I'm just going to ignore this for now. And besides, like, the map should be designed in such a way that it's actually impossible to do an out of bounds error. So like if the game crashes because of like something wrong with the map, that's like a legitimate reason for it to crash, and like that is something that I should fix. All of this was just testing stuff at the moment. Okay. So yeah, let's see. If the left key is pressed, move it left, try and move it left, try and move it right, try and move it up, and try and move it down. So now we can get rid of these comments and now we just modify the rest of the attempt character move procedure. Okay. So now we want to do what do we want to say? We now want to do another set of if conditions on the direction, and yeah, just like move the character. Actually, we don't need to do this at all. We can simply just move the character to the coordinates of the adjacent tile. Okay, yeah, it was the correct choice to like kind of like calculate the coordinates as a separate stack variable. Yeah, because now we can just do the following really easy thing. We can now say, yeah, the character can move to the tile, so move them. We can simply say the character's X position is now equal to the adjacent tile X pos, and then the character Y position dereferenced, since this is a global, is equal to adjacent tile Y pos. Save. Okay. And then that's kind of it. And then we can just return. So we can just say return. Okay, let's compile and check that it's working. And yeah, if this works, we'll then move on to the like moving the screen left or right. and wrapping the character around in the proper ways. And then this will be, and then I'll be satisfied with the progress today. Okay. Yeah, this is working as I'm expecting it to. When I press right, the character stops here. When I press up and down, nothing happens. I can go all the way up here, but I can't go all the way right. But I can go right here. Yeah, this is what I expect to happen. Yeah, and look at that, I can speedily move the character around in a circle. Okay, this game is coming along. Hello. Yeah, the gameplay's starting to take shape. Oh yeah, so yeah, Wizard Sanjo, hello, thanks for dropping by the stream. So yeah, the boat tiles are the orange tiles, like this kind of Tetris-esque looking shape here, as well as the piece at the very bottom. Oh yeah, so for my Devora keyboard, Sam, I'm just using a regular keyboard, and on Windows, actually I can just bring it up on Windows. Let me turn this off. Yeah, I normally like switch between the two of them. I kind of just like it's a setting in Windows. I press. There was when I was used to use Linux, there was some like command I'd run that like changed the keyboard, but it's like I'm currently just changing the setting via some other keyboard mapping. Yeah, but no, yeah. But thanks for asking, and yeah, I will. Like in terms of priorities, I totally understand that like keyboard layouts is like Wi-Fi is like orders of magnitude high priority. I'll try and complain less. I just can't help myself sometimes. Okay, so the movement logic is now working. So, or at least partially working. Since we haven't yet added in the logic for moving the boats with the character and the character pushing the stones around. But we'll get there. Okay, so now I want to change it so that the character can like walk between screens when there's like an appropriate path available. So we'll need to modify some of the rendering stuff now. We'll need to also modify some of the character movement logic again. And okay, well let's just, yeah, this already feels like a fair bit of work. How does the render stuff work again? Okay, so we're saying when we render a frame, yeah, we're just drawing the background color, then we're drawing the grid, assuming the resolution has a ratio of 4:3. So yeah, going through all of the possible tile coordinates. And this is okay. This actually is kind of wrong in that, like with the current resolution, I guess we're drawing heaps of rectangles like off the screen that are not just going to get rendered to it. So this can be modified. Yeah, we're saying is get the tile color and then draw the rectangle of that color. Okay. So what do we want to do now? Oh yeah, so yeah, Sam's noted. Yeah, after Sam does the Wi-Fi update, yeah, Sam wants to do the second pass on the window manager. Yeah, I myself am a non-QWERTY person, so I want to add support for different layouts. Oh, okay, cool. Happy to hear that I'm not alone. I feel like very often I'm surrounded by like a sea of QWERTY users, and whenever people realize I'm not, there's like a moment of surprise, and it's like it's not a hostile moment of surprise, but it's a slightly judgy moment of surprise. But anyway, okay, so. So how will this logic happen? Okay, so perhaps we do the following. We first determine the kind of like quadrant that the character is in. And by quadrant I just mean the appropriate like rectangle, the appropriate kind of level, Regis level screen. This will just be some trivial modulo and division operations. Then when we figure out what that quadrant is, we just want to render the screen, the appropriate like screen tiles with that quadrant. When we render the character though, we'll need to do some like transformation from the character to coordinates to like the screen coordinate, which will again just be some simple trivial like modulo operation, but we will need to do both of those. And I feel like that's the easiest way of doing it. Yeah. Okay, but I think to begin with, yeah, okay, yeah. How to begin, where to start first in this series of changes. It might be useful to have a global that's called basically like screen quadrant, and then the rendering can just use this, and then we can just set it separately during like character movement. Like in particular, if when I press like the right button and the character moves from left to right, it doesn't feel like the correct time to update it though. We could just update it at a separate place. Okay, but what are some other options? Like another option could just like dynamically, instead of storing this as a global, just dynamically figure out what this is on the stack every frame. It's simple enough that it wouldn't have any performance penalty, and like it's literally just like 2 stack variables, and maybe it's actually easier this way. It's like less globals floating around. Okay, I kind of want to try and do it without storing this as a global, and if the complexity becomes terrible, we'll go back to the global. We'll try out the global option. Okay. Okay, but I I think the first thing to change is this like level height stuff. Because I think, in my mind at least, the game is already, like the geometry of the game is already fixed. Like every screen is exactly 12 tiles high and 16 tiles wide. And so I kind of want to add that into the code somewhere. Well, where? Maybe like tile screen width. Or maybe just like tile width per screen, something like this. I'll say like, yeah, screen geometry. So I think we want to say absoluta what should it be called? Like tile, like screen tile width? So we want this to be 16. And then we similarly want the screen tile height to be 12. And this is the stuff we kind of want to be using in a bunch of loops. Okay, so when we do the string processing, we do want to make sure that each... Let me copy these. Well, I'll forget the names of them. We do want to make sure that the number of the width of each of these is a multiple of the tile width. Likewise the height. Yeah, so when I say the strings are the wrong dimensions, if the strings are not multiples of this and this, but yeah, we'll do that later. Let's move this down. So yeah, do we actually need, okay, we do need level width and we do need game, level's not correct though, this should really be called game width, game height. Yeah, while iterating through the game width and the game height, do all of that. And then here is when we should use these new globals we defined. Okay, so the eye is going to iterate over the screen height. So screen tile height. This is iterating over the width. What just happened? Okay, and then this shouldn't have changed anything yet, but this will enable us to do some changes later. Let's just check this still compiles. Okay, the things are fine. Everything is fine. Which is a fun album. Welcome to the game show where there's one answer to every question. Okay, so now we have this. We want to figure out like the top left like grid coordinate that's going to get rendered. This should all happen before any actual rendering. So we want to say figure out which the coordinates of the tile that will get drawn in the top left corner. So this is just some easy really easy math. So we just want to say we just want to divide the current character XPOS. Again, what are the types of these things? What are the types we're using for the positions? We're casting things to X to S64s. So, and I think the character positions are, well, they're globals, and I think they were S64s as well. Yeah, we'll keep everything S64s for now. Where's the main loop? Here it is. So we want to say like top left tile XPOS is a bit, it's not the correct thing to say. It's like we're dealing with the tile coordinates here, and do I even have a system for naming these things? it's weird, like in Zig I'm so used to like converting things between usize and bunches of other things, or even just some of the conventions in Zig that all of these like iterating things are automatically usize. It's like, it's curious to like to work in this language and just with slightly different abstractions. It's just like, how does this work? This language really forces you to think through everything, like to actually understand your program. So yeah, how's the current rendering happening? We're saying, yeah, what's the type of I? Okay, I here is just an N64, and then we're then converting these to signed things since noob rectangle needs signed things. Okay, so and in all of these cases, we're just drawing the I's and the J's in this case will need to be modified. And how do we want to modify them? I just want to modify them by adding in the offset. So it's really like, can I call it like tile offset? I think tile offset would be fine. So you could say like tile offset x is equal to, and we want this to just be unsigned 64-bit. The character pos, but the character pos is signed though. But like it should never be negative, but it kind of is. We'll just cast it. Hopefully it's not a. Hopefully I can do that. Hopefully it's not a compile error. So we want to cast the N64, the character x pos. Is it pos x or x pos? I think it's x pos. After we divide it by the after we divide it by the, did I save it? The screen tile width multiplied by the screen tile width. We basically just want to do like a kind of, I was gonna say like take off the modulo from it. This is kind of a bit nasty to do. Maybe it's actually easier to say. Simply cast the difference of modulo this. Perhaps this is better. And likewise, we want to do something similar in the case of the y. Okay. So now with these offsets, with these tile offsets, we want to switch these tile lookups. No. The Y here is the tile offset Y, but the J is the tile offset X. And actually, while we're at it, I feel like the tile offset Y should be like the first one, and then we add in the I, and then the tile offset X plus the J. Got that, and then just draw these things appropriately up here. But then when we do we're gonna have to modify the render character, but at least if this compiles when we move the character like across the screen should update. We need to remove the character to a position where that happens, which could be this position down here. So this is X coordinate 15 and Y coordinate 10. So we want to move them to 15, 10. In the initial setup, where did we set this to be 2, 2? We want to set these to 15 and 10. Let's make sure this compiles. We can test it out. So yeah, so the character should be on like the very right of the screen, and then when we press right, the screen should like update and like basically kind of scroll instantaneously. Okay. Oh no. A crash. Tracer stack new main. Okay. Let's try and figure out what's going wrong. Is it this casting? Is it some out of bounds thing? Okay, I kind of just want to, I want to see if this line is fine. I want to test if it's this line. Let's just set this back to I and J. Oh wait, it kind of told us what the error was though. Yeah, it says index non-intraterminum, index not within bound, bound 12, and the index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh? Okay, and it is saying Okay, no, this was a this is okay. Oh, the character is not okay. We need to move the character upwards one. But yeah, pressing right now should, like, once we do the correct modification, should scroll the screen. Okay. This is at least good to know. And so yeah, it was the line I predicted. But first, let's move to 14, and then yeah, something about this lookup here is failing. Let's just do a really crude print debug, where we just see what the tile offset X is and what the tile offset Y is. I guess I'm just doing something hideous here. So we want to say regere tile offsets that and that, and then yeah, what these are. So we say tile offset X, tile offset Y. Is that all we need? I think so. Okay. Suspend, switch, compile. Error. Index not within bound. Oh, yeah, the character is moved, like, incorrectly again. Oh, I changed it from, like, 15 to 14. It really should be something different. In either case, oh yeah, okay, yeah, why on earth is it saying that both of these offsets are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? This doesn't seem right. Okay, so maybe this is because I'm, like, doing a modulus operation with sine things, and this is not allowed. Yeah, let's just assume that, as well as fixing the character position again. So we wanted to change this from 10 to 9, I think. Okay, yeah, so why are we getting that these calculations are giving us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? So perhaps it's actually better to say, the first thing is, can I even cast assigned assign 64 to a unsigned 64. I hope so. Let's just create some temporary variables like, oh, it's because these are globals and I'm not dereferencing the global. Classic mistake. Classic mistake. Okay. Save. And let's now, I'm kind of, yeah. Let's just make sure these are behaving before we go any further. Let's compile. I almost got through an entire stream without failing to dereference the globals bug. Eventually I will. I'm getting close. Not there yet. Okay, let's try and run this. Okay, this is good. The tile offsets are meant to be 0, 0. To begin with. And now if I move the character to the right and now suspend this, yeah, the character offset is 16, 0, which is what we want. Great. Now that is behaving, let's check the rendering again. So we've done that correctly now. So now let's comment this line and uncomment this other one. Okay, and then I kind of feel it's going to work now. So now let's just start writing the render character stuff. So we need to modify this. So in a similar way, we need to do some kind of offset calculations. So in particular, and yeah, we'll keep the debug printing for the moment. We also want to say, figure out the render, so we already have a separate procedure for rendering the character. Given that, it feels a bit silly to have some like extra logic that we then need to like pump through the render character procedure correctly. I feel like the easiest thing is just modifying the render character procedure to do the logic kind of like on site. Yeah, this is the way to go. So let's just modify the render character procedure to do that. Where exactly do we do that? Also, this like render a frame is really important. This should have another box around it. 1, 2, 3, 4. The box here. Save. Okay. While we're at it, let's like make this consistent as well. Okay. So yeah, so render character, where's this happening? Well, all of this is new main. Attempt character move. Process, here it is. Okay, so we kind of want to just do like the same calculation almost. Yeah, I feel like it's an almost identical calculation. Okay, in that case, let's just copy the code with dereferences. And then modify it appropriately. So, okay, so we have, no, this is not render character, that is attempt character move. Very different. Here it is. Okay. So yeah, so we want to say, just to like check, did I stuff up this attempt character move stuff? I don't think so. Okay. So what's this? What are we currently saying? We're currently saying we're rendering the character by drawing a bunch of rectangles, and the tile X is the thing that's determining where the character is getting drawn. So we want to modify the tile X Okay, so now the fact that I've actually called this argument tile X makes me want to actually, in like the main loop, figure out like the kind of the tile. It's fine. We'll do it here. We'll do it here. The program's simple enough that we can remember this. Or at least try and remember it. Or in the very least, just add in some comments. It's just going to be the comments. So we want to modify the tile X. We want to convert the tile X and the tile Y here to the appropriate things. So we could say tile X and tile Y here are refer to the game tile, not the kind of render screen tile. As such, do you want to? My cat wants to go out. Okay, as such, yeah, these must be like, these must be converted. Okay, so I feel like it should just be like this exact, like the exact same calculation. Except now, so let's call this like render tile X, like, and render tile Y. And then in each case, we want to like add to the offset the actually it's even simpler. We simply just do the modulo and that's it. Nothing else needed. Literally just this. And instead of the character pause here, it's like like why am I even passing in the tilex and the tile while here? Like, this is completely determined by the global, so why not just like render it depending on those globals? Let's simplify that. We just need the new noob frame to render this, and then we'll just say, take the modulo of the character positions with the screen width and the screen height, cast these, no, actually just call these things like the tile X and the tile Y. And these things get rendered down here. And then, oh yeah, yeah. Thanks for the Sanjo for the comment. I realized. Made me realize the parentheses are there. Okay, so now we want to we need to modify the render character core to just include the things we actually need to. Oh, and have I possibly made another dereference error? This would be really, this is something that should get checked. Okay. There was space between them, but now it looks better. Okay. Let's try and compile this. Okay, I'm able to reconcile these types, N64 and S64. Oh, maybe I casted these even though there was no need to. Let's remove the cast. Since we're not using these to look up any indices. Doesn't like something. Basically the same error. Oh, did I? Oh, I forgot to. I think I like suspended something or copied something in the wrong direction. Let's just quit that. Okay. Does it work? Okay. Haha, and it does. Okay, this is good. Oh yes, this is it's taken a while, but we got here. Okay. I can now walk between the screens. Okay, this is good. I might make a video just of this progress and post it to the Discord. I'm happy with this. Okay. Suddenly it's like looking like it's now behaving like a game now. Okay. I am happy with this progress today, since unfortunately I now need to do the boring work of continuing to pack up my place for the apartment move. But yeah, this is progress. Okay, so let's now okay, let's actually just get rid of these debug things that are printing, since there's no longer any need for them. Then we'll make a backup of, let's see, we want to say scriptor, where are we? Of course, I can read off from the path where we are. Scriptor modify Sokoban. Yeah, let's get rid of these debug statements. And then, yeah, next time, which I doubt it'll be tomorrow, since tomorrow will be like a lot of moving, but possibly the Monday or the Tuesday, I can stream from my new apartment. We'll see. Like, I have to, it's ridiculous. I have to, like, I'm getting a new PC case, so I need to, like, disassemble and reassemble my PC and all of that. But I want to do, like, now that the screen is scrolling correctly, I want to do more game logic, and then we can actually, I can start adding in the puzzles to this game. Okay, so we want to get rid of the debug statements that happened in the main loop while we were setting stuff here. This can go. I'll just like paste it down here. And then where did I paste it from? Here. Save, and then let's just add to the to-do list for what needs to be, what I want to do next time. So I think next time we want to, it's like it's so liberating. I'm like, what do I do now? Like, we're now like onto like the more fun side of the programming. I think I want to get the boat logic working now. Yeah, and then like once the boat logic is working, then we'll figure out the stones and how to get those moving, and that's going to be more involved. That's going to be, the stone movement will truly be some of like the Sokoban stuff moving. So we can say get boat control logic, and also like rendering as well, because yeah, there should be some visual indication as to when a boat is being piloted or not, and maybe we'll figure this out next time. Maybe initially this would just be like actually like changing the color of the boat or changing the color of the character, something like this. But yeah, for the moment we'll call it a day. Okay, yay, this makes me happy just to see it scrolling. It's nice. It is nice. Okay. Let's suspend this. And great. No, this isn't being clogged up with debug messages. Okay. So let us. So I kind of want to actually just make a video of this, but I'm not sure how my PC will handle OBS, both streaming something to Twitch and recording something if I have like another recording program open. So I might just do this off stream. I don't want to like crash OBS or anything. Okay, so I'll make a recording of just a small recording so the Discord people see it. But let's now unplug the Serenum and make a backup of the data. Sam is currently working on a source control that is actually intuitive to learn and use, unlike Git, which doesn't even have a canonical tutorial. And so it'll be yeah, and once the source control and the Wi-Fi are working, there'll be no need to make. I'll still make hard copies, but there will be less of a need to make hard copies. And so I will just be able to push stuff to the cloud, to the Serenum cloud, safe in the knowledge that if my Serenum breaks, the code will not be completely lost with it. Okay, so let's make a backup of the code. So yeah, what are we doing? Serenum backups. Folder. Yeah, Serenum 6. June, is it the 29th today? I think it is. Yeah. Yeah. And let's just copy everything over. Actually, this is a bit excessive. It doesn't need to be everything. It can just be, oh, whatever. It doesn't hurt. Okay, and then our file should be, our file will be in here somewhere. Where is it? Any file, and if I search like tile roof, or like roof tile, 1227. The default action in Windows should not be launching the internet when it doesn't understand something. Okay. Okay, yeah, and everything is here. Great. So yeah, so that is good. It's now safe. And yeah, thanks everyone who stopped by on the stream. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a day, and yeah, I hope to continue implementing the logic later, and then yeah, soon there will be a very basic, playable prototype, and then yeah, once like I'm gonna have to do some. It's been a very long time, by which I mean 2 weeks. Since I last designed some levels for this game. And you know, there isn't any need to design more levels. There's still clearly like 20 hours of programming that can be done, at least. But I feel like there's a lot more programming a lot of programming coming up with my main game. So who knows? I might do some more level design. But yeah. Thanks, Sam. And yeah, thanks with Sandro for stopping by. See you later. Bye.